Hey, are you interested in finding out a way to earn an easy $1,000? Is it too good to be true? Stick around and we'll discuss that later in the broadcast and in the episode today. I want to talk about increasing salary dramatically. I want to talk about ways to actually exponentially increase your salary, and it's possible. It's possible to even double your salary. It's impossible. It's possible to increase it consistently and constantly have an uptick in your salary to a certain point. I mean, we'll get to a certain point where it gets harder and harder the higher you climb, kind of like a pyramid. Lower rung, it's easier to get raises. As you go higher and higher, there's less latitude to move to that point. But most of us aren't there, right? Most of us are not there to that point. So let's talk about some of the ways. Eight ways I want to talk about today about dramatically increasing your salary. The first thing is, and this would be a common theme, is that we have to change our mindset. We have to change the way we think. And if we think that it's impossible to increase our salary, if we think the employers are just always trying to get over on us, if we think that it's just never going to happen because the man's always out to get us, guess what? You're right. You're right. You might as well just quit now. I mean, Henry Ford said that, right? If you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. So it's important that we begin to shift the way we think. Contrary to popular belief, the majority of employers have problems they need fixed. And they want to hire people to fix those problems, to make a pain go away. And when you find a way to fix those problems, to alleviate that pain, they're willing to pay you to do that. And the bigger the problem, typically, the bigger the pay. So if we're thinking that, if you simply wanted to clock in, so to speak, at 8 o'clock and leave at 5 or 4:30 or whatever it is where you work, and you want to do just your job and nothing more, you're getting a paycheck for that. That's great. That's awesome. But if you want more, you have to do more, right? But typically, it's not happening. Well, if you give me a larger raise, I'll do more. It doesn't work that way. And if you think that's unfair, start your own business so you can run it your own way. But until then, most of us are trading our time for money, and those who pay us actually can pull the purse string, so to speak. So change the way you think. I've worked for some great employers over the years, generous, and the more I did and the more I was able to accomplish and solve problems for, the more it came back to me financially. So one, change the way we think. Two, give peace a chance. And peace, I mean PIECE. And it's an acronym I use. I kind of stole it from an old employer. They had the PI principle, but I added the C and the E at the end because it's kind of like has a little more to do with it. So first is our performance, right? We get paid to do a certain job every single day. Do that job and do it well every single day. I told my kids, both grown, both working in their own respective fields now, and I said, you'd be surprised if you show up to work on time and smile and you actually have clothes that are clean and you just do what you're told, you're going to outperform half the people in the workforce. And like, you're crazy, Dad. It's never. I'm just telling you. I've been around a long time. That's how it happens. And after a little while, both of them came to realize that's the case. And if you just kind of smile and have a good attitude, you're going to outperform the next 25%. Once you get that top echelon, you better start solving some serious problems. But if you're just trying to get a paycheck, it's not that hard. Just do what you're told, do what's expected. And the I in the piece is your image. What do people think about you? What image are you projecting? What is the scuttlebutt about you? Are you the problem solver or are you the thumb sucker? Are you always complaining about something and how bad things are? Or are you overcoming? It matters. It really does. People do talk, and how you're perceived in the workplace matters, right? C is, E, I'm sorry, E. I mean, how to spell. E is exposure. So once in a while, you have to take on a big project or do something outside your normal work. And that's like swinging for the fences, so to speak, a baseball term, is that, you can do singles and doubles and just grind it out. But once in a while, you have to swing that thing hard and go for something good, and you have to hit it, right? You don't want to strike out swinging hard. So find a project or something that's kind of beyond what you're doing and get exposure. And you want people that are like outside your circle of influence to know your name for all the right reasons. I tell people all the time, you don't want them to know your name for the wrong reasons, because then it's hard to overcome that negativity. So find something you can do and do it well, a side project, or just be a good networker. There's a lot of things you can do for exposure beyond where you normally are. Networking is huge, huge, right? So, all right. C is collaboration or cooperation. How are you going to word it? People want to work with people they like. And so you need to be collaborative and cooperative with your coworkers. It goes back to that one thing where he's talking about everything I needed to learn, I learned in kindergarten. Be nice in the sandbox, right? Help people, genuinely help people, and not always looking for something in return. Just be helpful, right? And then E is excellence. Perfect your craft, whatever that is. Become excellent at that. All right, third thing, social media. Social media is a two-edged sword. So are you the one on social media where you're always just airing all your problems? You're the complainer all the time because someone burned your pizza and didn't tell you, or the gas station charged too much money, and everything's negative, negative, negative. And then you start building this persona of being a negative person. So watch your social media stuff, right? Either don't do it or be kind of like stealth in it. I encourage anybody who's in the business world of any type at all to engage on LinkedIn, find a LinkedIn profile, develop friendships on LinkedIn, and start reaching out to people, connecting with people, but be a positive influence there. You want to make like Twitter where everyone's complaining about something. You want to be positive in that. So I encourage you to join LinkedIn. I'll put my LinkedIn profile down there. If you want to connect, I'd love to connect with you. Resume recharge. When's the last time you looked at your resume and recreated it or freshened it up? You should constantly look at ways to improve your resume. What it does is when you're constantly looking at it, you're recalling things that are active and current in your life that you've done and accomplished. So you're not just, oh my God, it's been 5 years since I did a resume, so what am I going to do here? Am I going to, oh my God, I can't remember what I did. So if you're constantly in a mode of refreshing your resume, all the great stuff you're doing right now is the top of mind. You can keep that thing on. And then if an opportunity presents itself, you're ready to just say, bam, do it, right? Do it. Interview practice. I'm a serial interviewer. I've interviewed for a lot of different jobs over the course of my life. And the more you do it, the better you get. I think back when my first interviews, they were atrocious. They were so bad. I said the dumbest things in there. I talked about things that no one cares about. I talked about about me. You need to practice interviewing, and then you need to start keeping a track record of questions that people ask you. And then you should be able to answer most interview questions pretty easily. You should be able to memorize it and rehearse it. And so it sounds natural, but it's rehearsed. Really, it is. So tell me about yourself. I mean, this should roll off your tongue a 30 second, 45 second answer about who you are and why they need you, right? They don't really care that you like to collect sock puppets or whatever, right? It's unless you're working for a sock factory. But anyway, so practice interviewing. And if you can't get interviews, practice by yourself. I always go through the interview questions I anticipate, and I'll answer them to myself out loud, because it sounds different when you hear it. And I'm just reading it on a piece of paper. I say, how to myself, this, and that. I actually say it out loud like I interview it, clearly articulate it, because if you haven't noticed, I talk fast. And so it's hard sometimes for me to slow down. I have to think about slowing down. So interviewing questions, I practice slowing down. When I get excited, I talk fast. But in interview, I mean, the last thing I want is somebody to say, this guy can't do it because he talks so fast. We can't understand him. Or he's a hustler. He's talking fast, right? We don't want that. 6, always ask for more money. And this is my $1,000 thing that I introduced the video with. Always ask for more money. If you're getting a job offer, ask for more. Very rarely will a company blow you away with what they're offering you. Ask for more. The worst they can do is say no. And if they lowball you, you can walk away. But if they think you're the right person, the $1,000, let's say you're an hourly employee, and you're able to say, I really like to work here. I'm the right person for the job. I can do this. I don't call off sick. Weekends are my jam. Nights are my jams. You won't be trying to find somebody to work for you. I'll be the person, but I really need 50 cents more an hour to do this. Can we make this happen? 50 cents more an hour. If you work 40 hours a week for a full year, that's over $1,000. You just, boom, you got it forever. $1,000 more forever until you change jobs, right? And if you're a salaried person, you can ask for more money. Hey, it's not comfortable. It's uncomfortable. We don't want to. I just want the job. I just want the job. No, you don't just want the job. You don't just want the job. You want to be hired and be happy with the salary you get. You want to feel like you got lowballed or you're just settling. Ask for more money. And if I'm the person hiring people and people ask for this, I think, oh great. One, they have an idea what they're worth, and two, these people aren't afraid to have tough conversations, because that's a tough conversation. We all know it, right? So ask for more. Yeah, ask for more. 7, you might need to leave your comfort zone. If you're in a city and there just aren't any jobs, or the jobs there just aren't paying well, I mean, this might be a last resort thing, but maybe it's time to pick up and move. Maybe you find it. Don't just lock into where you live and say, well, this is where I always lived and I must live here forever. I mean, you'd be surprised the different job offers that are happening. If you expand your search out, if you're on LinkedIn looking for a job, or Indeed, one of those job sites, and you expand it past 25 miles from where you live, people move all the time. Realtors love that, right? You can move. So yeah, it works. I've lived in 7 different states in my life, and I'm boomeranging into another state I lived in before. It happens, right? You can go and you can create new friends, and you meet new people. It's awesome, and you find out people are different than you, and so maybe you should step outside your comfort zone and move. Last thing I want to talk about is pivoting. Some jobs pay low based on the actual nature of the job. That's the way it is. And here I'll use an example that's common right now. Is there's teachers right now are leaving the teaching workforce in droves for whatever reason. And teachers, for the most part, are educated people, and they are they've proven they have a great stability in their work life, and people are hiring them in droves, and they're going to make more money in most cases from teaching than their new job. Here's one that may not be popular for some people. I'm telling you, if you love to solve problems for people, and you just want to really fix things for people, sales pays a lot if you do it right. And please don't think sales is some schmucky, swarmy thing that you have to convince someone to buy something they don't deserve or want. No, it's not that at all. It's solving someone's problem. And that's what it is. I highly encourage you, if you're a podcast person, to check out the 150K podcast. My friend Joe Graham runs that, and he's a sales guy, and he's helping people. He's constantly crushing his sales goals at his company, and now he's sharing some of his best tips and tricks and keys. And if you are thinking about that, I encourage you to check it out. But sometimes you got to pivot. You got to change your industries and just get out and do something different, and that'd be okay, right? It's reinvent yourself. It's scary, but it's possible, right? It's not like your job is your wife or your husband and you're supposed to be there forever, right? So there's just, real quick, 8 things that will help you dramatically increase your salary, and it is possible to get $1,000, boom, instant thing just by saying, hey, I need more money. I'll say it better than that, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time visiting, thanks for being here. If you come second time, thanks for coming back. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. I will see you soon with a new video. And until then, I dare you to profit.